Hello, everyone. My name is Frank Anthony, and welcome back to Let Me Be Frank, episode 56. So, this episode's going to be not exactly what I had planned originally. Before I get more into that, I said on the last episode on Wednesday that I would go over, so every Friday, I would go over all of the different countries that check out the Let Me Be Frank show, and just to kind of recognize and show appreciation towards all the people who listen to the show. This doesn't count the people who watch the YouTube version, which honestly 90 to 95% of my audience is audio only anyway. I do want to thank everyone who does go on YouTube to check it out because that does mean a lot. I am trying to build up that YouTube channel. I know it's really small and almost dead in a way, but you got to just keep watering the flower regardless. I cannot get a new one. So let me just recognize who we have here. In first place is the United States, where I live. 89% of the audience is there. So thank you, everyone in the United States, for checking it out. Second place is Canada with 2%. We have the United Kingdom at 1%. We have Ireland at 1%. And South Africa at 1%. And then we have a plethora of countries that are less than 1% and obviously are still really important to the analytics and mean a lot to me regardless. So we have Greece, the Philippines, Australia, Germany, Turkey, Pakistan, France, Brazil, Mexico, Singapore, Japan, Puerto Rico. Sorry, Puerto Rico, but I wrote Puerto Rican for some reason. I don't know why I did that. Puerto Rico, Argentina, Iceland, but I guess Iceland as well, Spain, Sweden, New Zealand, Bulgaria, and Finland. So it's super cool, that it's traveled all around. It's always exciting to hear from other shows too when that happens. So I want to thank all of you for checking out the show and giving it a chance, and hopefully you guys are subscribed and staying along with it. And definitely, on comment on social media posts or on the bottom of YouTube videos, or send me private messages if there's things that you like about the show, if there's things kind of like any constructive criticism, if there's things that you wish would maybe change, let me know. I'm open. We are frank here, we are honest. Let's do it. The whole thing I like doing this too now with announcing the countries is almost like a little like mini competition where United Kingdom, Ireland, and South Africa, they're really close to Canada and for second place. So if you lived in any of the other countries besides the United States, you could kind of be like, oh, let's, share the word to people within my country, try to get it up there in charts and stuff. It'd be really cool if you guys could do that. And I'd be extremely appreciative, of course. So, the main plan of this episode, I was going to talk about the Oscars and the outfits and stuff. And then at the end of the day, actually yesterday, which I'm recording this the day before today that you would maybe be listening, because today is Friday, but in reality it's Thursday, and I thought about this Wednesday. It's a very weird time thing going on here. Anyway, I digress. So, I remember thinking I really don't care about the Oscars that much. And if you care about the Oscars, that's perfectly fine. If you love the Oscars, I didn't even end up checking it out. I was supposed to watch it and I didn't fully. I saw a few little clips that were quite interesting, you could say. I heard the Oscars were really bad this year overall, which I mean, with pandemic restrictions and stuff, of course, that's gonna happen. It's gonna change some things. We can't live life 100% the way that maybe we want to at the moment. But yeah, I just heard it was really weird. I can make a couple comments on that stuff, and with the outfits too. I didn't realize there was 114 different outfits, apparently. Like, I didn't even think that many people could go to a building like that. But then at the same time, I realized no one was wearing a mask in the Oscars either. Were they all tested, vaccinated? I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting how some people have privilege. No, but uh, Where was I getting at? Yeah, I really don't give a shit about the Oscars, honestly. Like the last time I cared about an award show was I think Johnny Depp won a Teen Choice Award on Nickelodeon. Like that was years ago. I think he won it for like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That shows you how much I watch award ceremonies. I don't even remember the year that came out. I think it was 2004 or 2006, maybe 2008, the newest year that might have came out. It was definitely before 2010, I'm pretty sure. And that's the last time I actually cared about an award ceremony. And yeah, I don't know. They're just kind of pointless to me. It's like, why do we waste, what are they, like 2, 3 hours, I think, these shows, these award shows, and there's so many award shows because there's Oscars, Academy Awards, Teen Choice Awards for anyone that cares about that, Emmys. There's so many different there's so many different awards in general, and it's like I don't know. I just personally don't really want to waste 2, 3 hours of my life watching these way richer people than me win awards. I don't know. It's like a glorified award ceremony when like you have kids and stuff, but like for adults. Because like when kids are up for awards, whether it's like a sports event or something, and or everyone gets like the little like participation trophy, like it kind of feels like that in a way. I don't know. I thought about it and I was like, I don't even really, I want to talk about things I have passion for on here or that are actually important to society. And I know a lot of people have talked about the Oscars. It's just not really an important thing. And I know I've kind of talked about celebrities or kind of that those sort of topics in the past, but I'm realizing that yeah, it may be something that some people want to check out, but it's like how important really is it at the end of the day? So, yeah, so with the outfits though, there are 114 outfits I would have put on screen. I've been adding certain things in the video mode where, like I said, no more than 5% of my audience actually watches those. So to put 114 different suits and dresses for almost no one to watch them just didn't seem worth it at the end, and judging every single outfit. And so I was like, I honestly don't even care. Like I was looking at the outfits, I'm like, yeah, that one's okay. Like I think 80% of the guys, ooh, they were wearing a black tux. Like how exciting. So it just, like I don't, it just didn't seem that important, honestly. There, Glenn Close, I guess, was like twerking or doing some dance. That was a little strange. I remember her outfit, and I'm not like trying to pick on her or anything, but I think her outfit was one of the ones people liked, and I just kept thinking like, "You're a wizard, Harry." Like it's very Professor McGonagall like. It was very like I almost said magician. Oh my god, it was very wizard like. Jesus Christ, Harry Potter fans are gonna fucking kill me. Um, yeah, so I mean that happened. A big thing or two big things I saw that pretty much were, I guess, somewhat important that were maybe controversial was one, they had Best Actor announced after Best Film, which is really dumb. I don't know why they would do that. And I guess because they thought maybe it was kind of a setup where like Best Actor was going to be Chadwick Boseman, who unfortunately has passed away. He was up against Anthony Hopkins and a couple other people I honestly can't remember, but Anthony Hopkins won for his role in that new movie called The Father. I honestly can't remember Chadwick's movie name at the moment. I just know I saw trailers for both, and they both looked like they were really good in it. What really had me with Anthony Hopkins' performance is, I have some work experience taking care of individuals with dementia, and so he played someone who is experiencing Alzheimer's or dementia, and damn, like really, just like I said, I just watched the trailer. I didn't even watch the movie itself, and in just the trailer he was really good. That just sounded like Demi Lovato from Camp Rock. That just made me think of, but she's really good. But he was really good in that movie. It looked like he was really good in that movie, and Chadwick did as well. But I think, I guess there was just some controversy that Anthony won because he had already won an Oscar before, and I don't think Chadwick ever won an Oscar, unfortunately, before his passing. So maybe that was like the last opportunity he could. But this might be an unpopular opinion, but at the end of the day, let me be frank here. The best actor should win the award. It shouldn't be like, yeah, it'd be great if Chadwick did win, but you can't just be choosing winners because of a situation, because they had passed and it would have been like the nice thing to do. Like Anthony Hopkins probably earned that award at the end of the day. I don't think it was like a racial or racist move whatsoever. It just at the end of the day, which I mean, with Oscars you can argue and Grammys and stuff. I mean, they're definitely over the years there has been certain white artists, Caucasian artists that have won way more than African American artists who maybe deserved it a lot for the hard work that they put in. That's definitely a good debate that two people could have. But, at the same time, I mean, the best actor should win, and it shouldn't be, like, it shouldn't be like American Idol, no offense. But, American Idol, they'll push certain people through who have like the biggest sob stories ever. And there could be other contestants who are really talented, but because they don't have that sob story, they don't get the airtime. They don't even make it through the audition. And, to me, it's just not fair at the end of the day. Competitions shouldn't be like that, or award ceremonies. It really should just be off of the skill and the prowess. And it seemed like that he earned it, honestly. Anyway, so instead of talking about Oscar bullshit that I was originally planning to, I am actually going to, go back to one of my new favorite places in the world, which is Reddit. And I discovered a new group. I love discovering new groups and kind of infiltrating them, and then I end up leaving them. But with this one, it was relationship advice that people needed right now. So I I have a few different scenarios I'm going to respond to. There's actually one scenario that the person I've been going back and forth, because that response I did publicly put a comment for. Normally I would read them, respond on here, but I figured since they needed relationship advice now, might as well give it to them if they really needed it. And when it comes to romantic situations, it's something myself and people who are, should I dare say, older can relate to and see from an outside point of view, because we've experienced this stuff ourselves. Unfortunately, it sucks going through heartbreak or having to debate whether or not you should stay with someone. So, we're going to go over a few situations, and you can comment below too, or send messages about what your thoughts were on these scenarios. A couple of them are like bigger paragraphs and some are really short. So be patient with me. So the first one we have here, I've been talking to this guy for about 5 months now. We hit it off like crazy. I truly never felt the way I do for him. Like, I actually love this guy and have feelings I can't even explain. We only have been talking, though. He never officially asked me out, and I think that's because he's only up where I'm at for school and is supposed to be leaving in September. The past few weeks, he told me how he really wants to stay up here and get on a union, and this was out of the blue. I'm assuming it's because of me, because even his mom asked why all of a sudden now he wants to stay here. I always had the fear about him leaving in September, but at least I would be able to spend the summer with him. And he kept talking about staying here and getting on a 5-year work plan. And if he did, I contemplated moving back home with him if things went well after the 5 years, but haven't told him that yet. Here's the problem. Over the weekend, he started getting anxiety attacks and depression and doesn't know why. And I asked if he's homesick, and he said, yeah, he misses his family. And his parents picked him up, and now he's there to get on medicine and is thinking of staying home for his sanity. She wrote that in quotations. I do feel worried for him and concerned, but do I have a right to even be a little pissed and hurt? I've been crying my eyes out to the fact he told me how he was going to stay and do all this stuff, and now he's going to just drop out and go back home. I truly thought he was the one, and I think the feelings were mutual about me, as he treated me like the best I've ever been treated and talked about staying here and even told his mom about me. Should I tell him how I feel, how I would have moved back with him if we started dating, or would this just stress him out more? I can't believe he's just leaving so soon. He didn't even say goodbye because he's still deciding. And I'm sitting here sick to my stomach telling myself he wouldn't leave if he loved me, right? Should I confess my feelings or let him go live his life? Okay, so first off, 5 months, it's not a lot of time. I feel like 6 months to a year in general is like the beginning of a relationship going in a serious direction, if that makes any sense. And what it says in this message is they're not actually in an exclusive relationship. So, in my opinion, I think it's even easier to be able to disconnect or walk away because, you two never had made that commitment. And it didn't really, at least what I read, it didn't really seem like feelings were confessed. That there are feelings there, or at least on her end, but that the feelings weren't really confessed between one another, if I'm understanding that correctly. I think, honestly, I think this person was falling for this guy a little too fast and a little too hard. We're all guilty of, well, most of us are guilty of that, especially myself. I'll use an example situation. I'll try to use myself as much as I can for examples for things like this. I literally was dating someone for a month, and there were definitely some things that he had told me and stuff like it was moving very quickly and it was so intense and it was literally just a month and then it all ended and stuff. But that reminds me of this situation where you can fall for someone so quickly and so hard. And sometimes, we kind of forget that we can control those emotions, or we can at least put a halt to them, slow them down a little bit, that, take it one day at a time, that it's also not going to be the end of the world if these two people don't work out, or if we don't work out with a certain person. It's not the end of the world at the end of the day, especially if you're not exclusively dating yet, or if not, years and years have been invested, or you didn't have to go through a divorce and have children and stuff like that. That's what makes it a little bit more complicated usually to be able to move on. To me, this sounds like more like a crush. I don't want to assume how this person's exactly feeling, but it just, yeah, it sounded like things just moved a little too quickly, but it happens. It's normal. Yeah, this is the person we kind of went a little bit back and forth, so I kind of have an update a little bit on what was going on with these two, but I did kind of mentioned some of that stuff. And when it came to whether she should tell him or not about her feelings, I said, I've done that personally, and sometimes it doesn't even make a difference when you do. But I also said, because this has happened to myself, where sometimes you like really need to say something. You just have that urge, or that you're going to regret it if you don't say something. So I said, if that's the feeling, and like you just feel such a strong intensity that you need to tell him, then just tell him. It's all about communication at the end of the day. One thing I didn't say, because it's a little harsh in a way, but at the end of the day it's true, and I'm keeping it real, but he doesn't he doesn't owe her anything. At the end of the day, they weren't together. They were spending time together, but they weren't together. And I don't even think they were. I don't know how like romantically involved they were. I don't think that was really mentioned, but you two aren't together at the end of the day. He can, and also one thing I actually did tell her too, though, was there's a whole part about him feeling anxiety and depression, having to go back home. One lesson that I learned in life is that if you really do care about someone, you want the best for them. But sometimes, we have our happiness as priority. And what would make her happiest, I'm assuming, would to be with this guy. But maybe that's not his number one priority at this moment. He obviously is going through some mental health issues that he needs to assess first, because it's like, what if you two did date and he was really going through some tough shit? It would just be hard for both of you to have to get through that. So I think, maybe he does need this time to heal, and yeah, that's something that should be priority in general. And I think, yeah, from an outside point of view, it's definitely easier to say, but yeah, it's like I'd say let them go. There's so many people out in the world. An update that I found interesting, this is the only one that I have an update on the story, and that update is pretty much that she did tell him her feelings, and she said he didn't really seem to like say anything to it or really change his mind about leaving, which I mean, obviously, like, that to me, that's not really a realistic expectation to put on someone. But yeah, she said something like he's acting like that he doesn't have feelings for her, or like didn't feel the same way, which maybe he didn't in reality, or if he did and he's like pretending he didn't, then he's shit anyway, and you deserve better. So, coming from me, it's like either way, with or without the update, it's like you deserve better, girl. Move on, you know. He'll figure his shit out. You might already have your shit figured out. Go find someone else that has their shit figured out, and you'll probably be much happier. And I do feel bad because they did say, she said this is the best she's been treated so far. I know what that feeling's like too. Trust me, it's gonna feel like that no one will ever treat you better. And I promise you, there will be at least one person that will. It always happens. They're always, as long as you're still experiencing and living life. If you're hiding out in solitude, yeah, it's going to be much harder to find that. But if you're just living life for you and you're caring for your family and your friends and you're just being you and you're doing what you love, it's going to come. All right, so this next one. Hello there. I need to break up with my boyfriend and I don't know how to tell him that I'm lesbian. And that's all it says. This is a shorter one. Who? The gay talk. I mean, I'm not a lesbian, but I am a different part of the LGBT community, so I can kind of understand this a little bit. Actually, what makes me understand this situation even more is the fact that I've been with a couple partners who have been in the closet or may even still be in the closet, but that, had to deal with where they dated a girl and then they dated me. And that is it's a very interesting transition there because either one or two things happens. Either you were trying to date the opposite sex because you were trying to convince yourself that this is what you like, but in reality, you weren't born that way, or you did know before that you or wait, did I say that right? I was pretty much what I'm trying to say is like you either knew or you didn't know originally that you were gay or lesbian or bisexual or pansexual or whatever. So yeah, I mean, so we don't obviously it's so short so we don't really have the full story on it, but I immediately what I think about just being a guy in general or just knowing straight men, not all of them, but in some cases I've seen this a lot where the guy will think they're the reason their girlfriend is a lesbian. And that's usually not true, almost never, because people are born. People are born this way at the end of the day, in my opinion, at least. Yeah, I think sometimes the guy will put like all of that blame or responsibility on their shoulders when it doesn't need to be. You don't need to feel like shit for your partner coming out as gay. I will admit that if she knew that she was a lesbian before dating him, that is a little bit wrong. Maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot. I get both sides of it because I get when you're in the closet and you're trying to live this heteronormal life that's put out there. But then at the same time, I get on the other end where it's not cool to date people knowing that you have no attraction to them whatsoever. You're just kind of doing it as a cover. I don't think that's really the best thing to do either. It's not fair to that person who is developing feelings for you. And it was just never going to happen anyway. It's just kind of wasting everyone's time that's involved. There's some people too that will say like, just break up with him and don't mention that you're lesbian to almost like spare him in a way, but I don't think that should be done either. I think, you might as well be completely honest. Like, yeah, you can do the breakup first, but explain that, yeah, I'm breaking up with you, not because you're a bad person at all or because of like X, Y, or Z, regarding you. Like, this isn't you. It sounds really cliche, but it's not you, it's me. But in this case, it really is where you'd have to be honest and say, look, I'm attracted to women. And I think that's something that you should be honest, that she should be honest with the guy about. She shouldn't, I mean, it's her right at the end of the day to tell her ex-boyfriend or not, about her orientation. She doesn't technically owe him anything, with that or like further explanation, but at the same time, I wouldn't just avoid it just because of like, oh my God, he's gonna think it was him, why she converted or some bullshit. No, like she's attracted to women. Unfortunately, you're a man, and that's why she's breaking up with you to not waste your time anymore. All right, so we got another one. So why does it make me upset? So my ex just admitted to sleeping with my neighbor when we were having a break not long ago. I always had suspicions, but he never said anything until now. I don't know why it's made me so upset. I have nothing left to feel towards him. I hate him for everything he put me through. I lost all feelings towards him long before that and pretty much stopped caring what he was doing and where he was. He also admitted to spending a lot of money getting I'm sorry. I I don't mean to laugh at this story, but just like what? Like this last part is like what the hell? He also admitted to spending a lot of money getting lap dances at a strip club. That one I'm angry about because we have children together that he's never provided for, and he can just blow $7,000 on lap dances. He's such a shit human being. Why on earth am I upset? Wow, for such a small story. That's a lot packed in there. Whew. First of all, it is normal to be upset about this situation, regardless if you still had feelings for him or not. Just dealing with a breakup or dealing with an ex hurting you in some sort of way, it's completely normal to take that personally. It's just normal to feel that way. Like, of course, like, and I feel like she does have a right to feel upset. Like, it's a normal human emotion at the end of the day. So let's go in order here. So the ex slept with their neighbor while they were on a break. Personally, I do not like breaks. It's either, in my love world, it's either we're together or we're not together. There's no like in between land. Because if that's the case, then we're together, but we're trying to work on things. Like a break, to me, what a break should be is that both people take that time to focus on themselves, but that's not how it goes. 90% of the time, there's at least one of those people who uses a break to hook up with other people, like maybe this guy did, hooking up with their neighbor. And it just becomes this like sleep fest for certain people. So that's not cool in general. It's definitely something that could be debated at the same time because you technically weren't together and he slept with the neighbor. It's not right whatsoever. But that's something I know that people would also argue, or maybe this guy would argue and say, well, we were on a break, so I could go be with other people. Where, in my opinion, breaks should not be that. You should just be broken up at that point. Like, cheating is so pointless to me. It's like, just break up, then like if you really want to go be with other people or find someone who wants to be in a polyamorous relationship, because then you guys can have the conversation of, hey, I want to date more people than you. Or at least I want to date this other person as well who's polyamorous. And then that person can be, like you both then have the power to be open to other partners so that one of you who is expecting to be monogamous is just completely shattered. It's just not fair to this woman or girl. I don't know how old this person is, but they do have children. And oh my god, the money thing. Like, he got ripped off $7,000. He got ripped off from those strippers. But anyway, um, yeah. So I mean, like one thing I do want to get across too is that it's also normal to hate him. I just, in my personal advice, definitely don't hate him for years and years and years, which obviously people can do whatever they want, but I just think hating someone for so many years, it's a waste of time at the end of the day, or like hoping, oh, I hope my ex suffers and stuff. Like, it's just such wasted emotion and energy that you are much better than. and you deserve more than this piece of shit guy. He said he's a shit human being. He probably is. And you have your children to take care of and be happy with. And if he was a shit father, well, that's extremely unfortunate as well. But, at least you're walking away from it, and yeah, and you do have that time for yourself and permission to be upset about any of these situations, but I definitely wouldn't hold on to them for years and years and years. Hold on to the hatred, because it's just not worth it. At the end of the day, it's like, he's shit. Just never, just, he's not worth thinking about again. He's not worth nothing to you. He's not worth anything to you. And hopefully someday he gets better, but who knows? I guess he had a whole different lifestyle in mind, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's all I really have to say to that. Okay, so I have one more. This one's a little bit long. So I, a 22-year-old female, have been in a relationship with a 25-year-old male. We're calling them Jay, for about 7 months now. He's the first serious partner I've ever had, but before we met, I never envisioned myself getting married or having children. I am in love with Jay. We laugh constantly, have the same moral views, are honest and open with one another, like this show, treat each other with trust and respect, and generally just have a great time together. A few things that have worried me from the beginning are that he's a Christian, not hardcore, while I'm atheist/agnostic, his lack of knowledge about social issues, and his frattish behavior. Oh God, I'm sorry. I have to pause a second. I was say red flag behaviors. Whenever someone says like there's these worries that I had at the way beginning of a relationship, I would have been gone by then. Like I just walk away now. I can detach so quickly from a man. It's not even funny. Anyway, unpause. I also get really anxious when I'm in public with him. I'm already a nervous person, but he just isn't aware of himself when we're out. For example, getting in others' way, not considering the experiences, feelings of others, and doesn't mind attracting the attention of others. I've also noticed that I go out of my way to do things for him, and while he does nice things for me, such as buying flowers, he fails to do the simplest, most helpful tasks for me, even when I explicitly ask him to. I'm graduating college in 3 days, and we have heavily discussed finding jobs in another area and moving in together. We've also envisioned getting married and planning a life together, but I'm starting to second guess things. I don't know if this lifestyle is right for me, and I am hesitant to buy into this situation with the hopes that things will change. We've had multiple conversations about him being inconsiderate and contributing to my stress, anxiety, and things will usually get better for a week or so before going back to normal. I need unbiased opinions on the situation, so please leave any comments that may be helpful to me. I don't want to hurt him, and the idea of not having him makes me ache, but the idea of me settling makes me sick to my stomach. Please help me. Wow, I can relate, especially to that last part. That yeah, I would rather be single than settle for just like some bullshit at the end of the day. Because I've heard so many horror stories, unfortunately, when it comes to love. Okay, so my short answer is that considering everything, because there's a lot more information given in this one. So considering everything, I'd probably leave. That's just my personal opinion, and my short answer to that is I probably would leave him. If it was me, I don't think I would like want to even deal with that or want to marry that and to move somewhere completely different and stuff. I don't think it said anything about them having children yet. They're still young. I don't know, because it's like, to me, how I think of it is if you have conversations over and over and over again with an individual and they just don't get it, they just keep doing the same bullshit, then it's like, yeah, you're just wasting your time at that point. And like I said earlier, there's so many people out there in the world, and it's like, if you guys just aren't meshing or having like those issues, but then at the same time they also do have these other things in common. So I guess at the end of the day, you have to figure out, well, what's more important, because no one's going to be perfect. At the end of the day, everyone's going to have flaws, including me, which is just so hard to believe. I'm totally kidding. But but everyone has flaws. It kind of or everyone's going to have some sort of negative things about them. It's kind of deciding what you want to settle for. And I don't like the word settle, but at the end of the day, you got to figure out, well, what would I rather deal with? For example, I would rather have a partner that maybe like wasn't good at washing the dishes compared to a partner that beat me. Like I know those are kind of two extremes, but it's like I'd rather take that first flaw a million times more than that second flaw because that's like a whole other therapy, like abusive situation that would be so much harder to get through than just washing dishes and stuff. When it comes to this, I'm not a super religious person. I don't know how religious they are. I guess when it comes to marriage and like when they're trying to raise their future kids on a certain religion, I could see that being a roadblock maybe in the future. Yeah, the fratish behavior, I mean, that's obviously a turn off. Like who really likes that, especially that's a woman. And social issues, that's interesting too. I don't know specifically which social issues, but yeah, I mean that could be important too, where they just don't care to learn more about certain things and almost like close-minded in certain ways. Like that could definitely get tiring as well. And stuff like that sometimes, at least to me, that would be more important than just like, oh, well, he makes me laugh though. It's like there's so many people that can make you laugh. Yeah, so there was another part too, not considering the experience or feelings of others. I mean, that's to me, that's such a turn off. Yeah, that's just such a turn off. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't seem worth it. And if those are things that are big issues for you, that because at the end of the day, you have to realize like he might never change in some of these things. Maybe he'll get better in certain ways, but there's always certain habits that people hold on to for the rest of their lives. And it's not like all these things are going to change overnight or at all. So that's definitely something to consider. Like, can I deal with this? Kind of like what I just said a minute ago. Like, are these flaws worth sticking around in general? I don't know. Just with everything that this person says, I personally would say it's not worth sticking around in my opinion. Very unbiased. Like that's probably the most unbiased I could be about it. That I just from an outside point of view, I don't think it's worth it. And one more thing too that I want to recognize is with the whole conversation thing is that, for a week she was saying like he'll get better with certain things, but then he just reverts back. I feel like that's your answer right there. If he's always going to revert back, and if this has happened multiple times, I mean, at the end of the day, do what you want to do. If you really want to stay with him, fine. But I just, from personal experience or just from an outside point of view, staring into the relationship, it just doesn't, it sounds like, you shouldn't have to deal with that. You should find a partner who fits with you like a puzzle piece. I know it sounds a little cliche, but, you should find someone who's going to want to work together with you and not cause this stress and anxiety that she's talking about feeling whenever he gets this way. Like, you shouldn't constantly have to feel that way with your partner. Like I always say, your romantic partner and your friendships should really be stress-free relationships. Like, yeah, you guys are gonna get into things over time, but they should be giving you love and comfort and be like your fun times. Whereas like things like work, like that's a normal stressor for people, or sometimes family members are stressful and stuff. Like those other people are like your fun people, like these are things you should be these people should help you enjoy life and make your life happier, not make it worse or bring you down. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or any of your favorite streaming services. I'd like to thank my executive producer, Monica Leigh, and my producers, Jennifer Herrera, Alexa Hunt, and Rebecca Russo. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to buy some merch or make a one-time donation on Buy Me a Coffee. If you'd like to become a producer, also go to the Buy Me a Coffee link and join the monthly or yearly subscription. And with the yearly, you get 2 months free. Have a super special, awesome day, and bye.